What is up, Jabronis? JJ back here with Holden, back off of a week layoff. Some would argue you spent a weekend in cabin in the woods. I don't know if it was very much like the movie, but I hope that all your dreams came true in the solitary confinements of said cabin in the woods. You also do look like you got a haircut, a little tight on the sides, so keep up the good work there. But you're
going to shut up and let me talk, or you're just going to fucking just.
You're a little tired, Holden. Am I right? I mean, walk us through what's going on in that head.
All right. First of all, the cabin in the woods was great. The lady friend was up there. She saw hundreds of elk. I got up there and I saw one dead elk in the yard. So that was interesting. Yeah, there was no internet or cable. Very, very not good cell phone service. So you ever coming out to Denver, you come out, we'll go to a cabin in the woods and we'll see some dead elk. Second of all, daylight savings time. Let's just get rid of this shit. There's literally no reason for it. I know all the 9-to-5ers like, we got an extra hour of sunlight during the summer. It does nothing for energy consumption. And all it does is piss everybody off.
Did I hear correct that it's like potentially going away?
It's a rumor. I mean, if it is going away in America, I will celebrate. Let's have a parade. Let's have a good time with that. What was the other thing you wanted to talk about?
The haircut looks good.
Oh, so yesterday, now I go to a barber. Usually what I try to do is, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I try to go and find a beautiful lesbian. So the reason for this is because usually I want to have sex with my stylist if it's a woman, and I can't do that anymore because I'm tied down. So what I did was I was like, oh, maybe this one. So I go to this barbershop until I find the one, and I finally found her. She has a girlfriend, and it's wonderful. She sits me down. She gives me a good cut. We talk about ladies. We talk about, how to satisfy women. And that's how I do it. So it was a great haircut. Thank you for the experience. The stylist next to her was telling us all about her upbringing and how her ear almost fell off. So it's an interesting Saturday. Plus, my Jayhawks got their asses kicked.
At the ripe age of at the ripe age of 55, these conversations I'm sure mean a lot to you.
I'm not 50 yet. We're about a year and a half away from that. I'll also say I'm very intrigued as to why you're going to the RPS party on Tuesday. Are you just trying to get away from your wife? Cincinnati, that beautiful of a city. Do you want to hang out with some hilltoppers in Kentucky? What's going on here?
My flight arrives into Kentucky at 11:30 in the evening on Tuesday.
Oh, that's great. So where are you staying?
At the Holiday Inn Express.
Okay, you're not. You're going to the Hampton because that's what Tony made us do. Unless you booked your own hotel, we're going to the Hampton next to the Holiday
Inn. That might be
actually, you're staying in a different hotel than us. Then
that can't be true because I gave the code at that hotel.
Oh, I gave the code at the Hampton Inn, so we're staying in different hotels. That could be a complete cluster.
I have to figure this out off air. But yes,
I mean, it might be better. Actually, we might switch. I'm not staying in a Holiday Inn, but being away from people sounds really good.
When did you get your data that told you it's the Hampton?
Tony sent it to me, and then I called the Hampton, and then they said, oh yeah, we have the Run Pure Sports rate. And I said, do that, but I'll give you my credit card. But Tony Newhouse is going to end up paying for this, not me.
Oh, wait a minute. So
what a donkey you are.
hold please. So,
you're lucky you're working with me. I mean, this is the first time in your illustrious RPS career where you actually get a benefit from working with me.
You know what? I lied. I assumed it was the Holiday Inn. I did book it at the Hampton Inn.
I told you because when I went off on a tangent on the Up to Lock show in the NBA, so I'm not staying at Holiday Inn. The lowest possible hotel I'll stay in is the Hampton Inn. And Tony got us into the Hampton Inn.
Yeah, so I confirmed I am at the Hampton from Tuesday night to Friday night. My room is 24/7 accessible, Holden.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm getting in Wednesday morning with Rubio Dimes. He's picking me up from the airport. Do you want to go to the casino with us
that evening?
No, in the morning.
Wednesday morning. I'm doing outside of a lunch date with Uncle T. I have nothing I'm going on with.
You have a lunch date with Uncle T.
Some
just blow him off. First of all, I'm pantsing his ass. This is going to be great. Like, he better wear a belt because the pants are coming down and we're going to see what kind of jungle he has down there.
I don't think that's fair to poor Uncle Terry.
Why?
Because it feels like he would be very uncomfortable in that setting.
He doesn't want to pick me up from the airport. As a matter of fact, he LMFAO'd me. Yeah, he LMFAO'd me and said, I'm not picking you up at the airport. Try Rubio Dimes, to which I said, I haven't talked to Rubio in a year, but Rubio's going to be nice enough to do that. So are you sure you want to go to lunch with Uncle T as opposed to having fun at a casino and placing bets?
I will certainly reweigh my options.
Thank you. You're more than invited.
Yeah, just you have my number. Once you arrive, just let me know.
I have your number. I think we just put it. No, I do have your number. That's right. I got to find it, but I'll find your number and be like, you don't want to go to lunch with Uncle T. You want to hang out in a casino on a Wednesday morning in just outside of Cincinnati.
And I'll say this, Maddie. There's no strategy to be talked about in terms of basketball with Uncle T. The 2-on-2 that you're referencing is more or less going to be.
Where are you seeing this?
We're gonna Uncle T and I will be living and dying with my scoring prowess. So either I'm gonna have a great game, we're gonna blow out Snyder and AP, or I'm gonna have a bad game and we're not gonna cover the spread. But there is no chance me and Uncle T lose to Snyder and AP. Like 0% chance.
You guys are playing AP and Snyder
2-on-2.
This is interesting, man. I don't know. I really don't know who to take here.
Would you want to know what the spread is?
What's the spread?
10.5.
You're laying 10.5?
Yeah.
Ugh. And you're playing with Uncle T on your team?
Yep.
You're dead. You got no shot. I mean, now listen, Snyder probably is horrible, but AP can't be. Well, actually, both of them are really bad too, aren't they? Just everybody playing is going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Have you been practicing?
I have not. Outside of the one little court showing on Twitter that I posted last week. That's
okay. I didn't see that. You're going to lose. There's no shot you win that. Just saying.
I do always love a good doubter. I will say this. I have no idea how the two of them are going to score.
How are you going to score?
And I have no idea which one of them is going to stop me from scoring.
How are you guys going to score? Isn't AP like 7'1"? He's just this behemoth giant from Game of Thrones, from the Battle of the Bastards.
I think AP's like 5'11".
Stop it.
Yeah, I think AP's like 5'11", maybe 6 feet, and it won't matter because I consider myself a little crafty with the basketball, so I don't. Yeah, I don't see how we lose that. I mean,
so
21. We are to 21. We are definitely not losing outright. As far as covering the 10.5, yeah, if I play poorly, it's going to be tough to cover 10.5.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that if you should probably play by yourself against AP and Snyder, and I think you're gonna have a little better shot there.
Uncle T doesn't do himself favors though. He, from like 12 to 14 feet, he's pretty automatic.
I'm so upset at him right now for not picking me up at the airport. It's just it hurts my feelings.
And in your defense, he also last year turned down Allie picking her up.
Well, that's his defense. That's what his defense is. But I'm not, Allie. I'm a handsome man that I could give him tips to please his wife, but he doesn't want them.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Makes sense. Anything else we needed to discuss before we get into basketball?
No, I mean, obviously, maybe some casino fun Wednesday.
Please come with us and just postpone the Uncle T lunch to like 3.
We could probably make that happen
because Uncle T didn't want to pick me up because he was working. Okay, so we just outed Uncle T for lying to me on top of it. He just didn't want to pick me up in the Mustang, which is understandable. If I was him, I'd have my head on a swivel the whole time.
Are you going to be getting down in anything competitive over the next few days in Kentucky, or are you just going to be on the sidelines?
I was going to do a bench press competition, but it seems like nobody wants to challenge me in that. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is I don't understand, again, why we do this over March Madness. Like the first 2 days of March Madness are amazing. You guys just aren't going to watch the games. You're just going to dick around outside all the time.
I will say this: the big basketball games that happened last year were on Wednesday evening.
But not this year.
I can't speak to how things are being scheduled this year. I don't know.
Okay.
But I know that last year the big ones happened Wednesday evening.
I just think it's a horrible time to do this. And I will be sitting inside.
I can't disagree, but as somebody who was there last year, obviously watching basketball for 5-6 straight hours,
great.
It is nice to get outside, kill another 30, 45 minutes and come back in and realize how much money you've lost, by not watching for 30 to 45 minutes.
All right, let me go see the weather too. It's beautiful on Wednesday. Thursday, 61 and cloudy. All right, I can go outside and whatever. We're doing a house too. Do we have like multiple televisions there?
I'd assume it's a pretty. From what I understand,
This just sounds like it's setting up to just be a debacle.
It's gonna be a frat house, Holden.
Yeah, I'll be spending a lot of time in the Hampton Inn, streaming games on my phone. And here's the other thing: you can't live bet there. My favorite thing why are we betting so much pregame in basketball? We should be live betting. So maybe the best thing will be to go to the casino on Wednesday, give whoever's running the casino, the manager, a couple of bucks and save some seats there so we can watch the games all day.
That's an option.
Only thing I want to do, I want to hang out with the boys. I want to meet everybody. I haven't met many people. The only people I've met is you, Tony, and JSU in person. I've met nobody else that we work with.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Who are you most looking forward to meeting, and who are you least looking forward to meeting? I totally forgot that Joey Work was going to be there till he took a shot at me in Discord. I'm really looking forward to seeing Joey Work. That's going to be great. I'm going to give him a big hug. I'm looking for maybe grab his ass. I'm not sure.
If he's lucky.
If he's lucky, I'll do that. And then besides for that, really no. AP, I'm definitely looking forward to hanging out with AP. That'll be fine. Stevie Boynton was a big listener of mine when I was in Washington, D.C. He was a fan. Looking forward to gracing him with my presence as well. So there's 3 or 4 people I'm looking forward to seeing. The rest of them, we can all put fake smiles on when we see each other.
And credit to Boynton. He parked his ass at a couch in front of the TV on like Thursday, maybe at 1 p.m. And he didn't leave that couch until like 11:30 at night.
That's what I'm doing. I'm showing up Wednesday. No one's going to be there. People will be coming in on Thursday. I'll be watching basketball. I can leave and then I can say, hey guys, I went to the party this year. I went out of my way, spent my own hard-earned money, went to Cincinnati, and that was it. So
fair.
That's my plan for Cincy. We'll see if it happens or not. Can't imagine a place better than Kentucky. Really looking forward to that.
Hot dogs all the way, Holden.
Hot dogs?
All the way.
I don't eat hot dogs. But let's talk about yesterday real quick, and then we can maybe get into some other stuff. Duke's on fire.
Some other stuff, sure.
Dude, Duke is on fire. They won 9 straight now. Shire's got this team going. What is it? Filipkowski. These guys are rolling, dude. I'm a little afraid of Duke. The problem is they're gonna be a 4-5 and face one of the best teams in the nation there, or number 1 seed probably. But boy, what are you thinking about Duke right now?
I don't know. Weak ACC this year. Granted that they came on late, which is obviously the right time to peak, of course. But I don't know. ACC's been weak this year overall. I mean, I'll be honest. There's been a lot of conferences that are weak, and even your cream of the crop at the top, Holden, like it's relatively a down year. I mean, most years you could talk about how there's parity in this sport every year in its own way, but like even like in previous years, the last 5 to 10, you at least had 1 or 2 teams at the top that you're like, wow, hard to imagine one of these 2 teams doesn't make the Final Four. But this year, I mean, who are those teams this year? Like where you're like, you know what? I'd honestly be shocked if this team did not make the Final Four. Do you have one of those teams in mind?
No. Not even Kansas. Not even my boys.
At the top, it's relatively light, which plays to a team like Duke's strength because Duke isn't as talented as they've been in previous years, and I truly believe more than ever this could be a year where teams outside the top 20 in the bracket could definitely make a very deep run because the talent is just not as good. I will say this, ironically enough, just the way the world works, if Gonzaga happens to win the national championship this year, how great would that be? Everybody doubts them all year when they're the best. Yeah. This year they're having a down year, and if they win it all, that would be.
Yeah, I don't want them to do that though. I want Kansas to win. The good thing about Kansas is that if they can get through the first 2 games, then they play at home in Kansas City for 2 games probably. So that thing's gonna be fine. And the cat might start like meowing going into heat. The next one is Texas. With Chris Beard, weren't they a top 4 or 5 team headed into the season? I mean, a lot of people were taking them to win the Big 12 regular season, and Beard is gone, and they're still performing. That's a team that I'm afraid of, man. Texas, talented. Now they're well coached, still well coached, I should say. There's a team to keep an eye on. Probably a number 2 seed.
I mean, teams that rank inside the top 20 on offense and defense per KenPom usually project well in the bracket. Obviously, a bit of turnover there in its own way, but Texas has come on late, lost a few games down the stretch of the season, but came on strong in the tournament. And I mean, definitely not an easy out, that's for sure.
And then the last one was last night. You've got Arizona taking out UCLA. And UCLA's got a couple injuries now, a couple big injuries going on. So Arizona is another team. Tommy Lloyd, most wins of any coach his first 2 years, 61 now. That Arizona team could make a run too. So Texas, Arizona. I'm curious about Duke, but Texas and Arizona are 2 teams I'll really be on.
Yeah, I think you can just nitpick the whole top 10, right? I mean, Houston now has Sasser with the groin injury. Who knows how long he'll be out? I doubt they're going to play him today, but we'll see. And I'd argue Houston's had the easiest schedule out of every team inside the top 15 anyway. So, it's hard to really gauge how talented that team actually is. UCLA's got some injuries. Alabama lives and dies with the 3, which they don't even shoot that well. UConn, a lot of people are big on, but they just randomly dropped a game they shouldn't have in the Big East tournament. Purdue, I never trust this team anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Tennessee goes on scoring droughts like nobody else. Texas has come on late. And we just talked about them, how they have upside for sure. Gonzaga's had a down year. Kansas could certainly get caught with their pants down. Arizona's had a bunch of head-scratching games this year. St. Mary's is, I guess, in the mix. Marquette's been good, but Marquette doesn't play defense that well. So, I mean, typically they've played well in this tournament, but the right team shooting could easily beat them. Creighton's a bit too one-dimensional with the big dude. Just like I said, every team you could basically create big problems for, which ultimately is going to make the bracket a lot of fun this year.
All right, good. Let's get into today's game. Now, do you want to cap the Princeton-Yale game? Princeton getting 3.5. It's on their home court, by the way, in New Jersey. 138.5 is the total, plus 145, minus 170 for Yale here. So I think that is interesting because the Ivy League moves their tournament around every single year, and Princeton got lucky this year. And then you got Yale, who's lost one time since like middle of January. So it'll be a true showdown today, JJ, in the Ivy League, which I will probably not be watching.
Yale has been the absolute cream of the crop all year long in the Ivy League. Usually you see 1 or 2 of these teams separate themselves. Princeton, while they're not far behind record-wise, there's just a lot of factors that rank Yale as a much better team. But to your point, the game is in Princeton, which also means I cannot bet it from the glorious state of New Jersey. But wouldn't have mattered because Princeton plays in Jersey. I wouldn't have been able to bet this game even if it wasn't in Jersey. If this conference tournament wasn't played in Jersey, it wouldn't matter. With that said, lean Yale, don't love it. I do think that especially now at 3.5, it wouldn't surprise me if Princeton plays well in a one-game setting. But again, Yale has been the cream of the crop all year long. They're a much better team than Princeton. So small lean Yale, not enough for me to want to bet it though.
You see Rance. Do you want to throw Rance's comment up there? Because I think we can answer his question. Never tried college basketball DFS like college football DFS. Any bets today? By the way, this is the time to play college hoops. Kurt and Steve's cores. I mean, I've been hammering DFS, so I'm excited. You might, if you never tried it before, you might want to get in today. These guys are rolling, and you're definitely going to want it for the NCAA tournament.
Huge. College basketball from a usage standpoint is similarly predictable to college football in certain aspects for sure. Obviously, there's the tilting angle where the old 2-foul auto bench in college basketball, which can be tilted. But outside of that, no, it's fun. You can speak on matchups. It's easy to kind of pick and choose your matchups based on price. There's a lot more players involved. My issue's been like ever since they, I guess you would call it delegalizing and legalizing college sports. The college basketball prize pools have been absolute dog shit. Like you're talking like top of the prize pools with like 15,000 entries is like 5K or 10K.
Yeah.
So outside of like the mass, I just wish they made bigger pools. which they probably will next week for the tournament, for the madness. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun if you bet DFS. I mean, if you bet college basketball and you're in the streets anyway, you know some guys' names, you know the players. Run Pure, obviously between Boynton and Kirk, can help you easily get across the finish line in terms of building lineups. So yeah, definitely check it out. It's definitely fun. And if you haven't done it yet, be warned, you'll be addicted, and you'll be addicted at the wrong time because it's going to end soon, and then you'll be hoping it comes back next year a lot quicker than it should, because it's a lot of fun.
All right, buddy. Let's move on to our next game. I would think that's Texas A&M and Alabama, and it is. 18th ranked Aggies, 4th ranked Bama. Texas A&M getting 5, 145.5 is the total. A&M plus 190. Boy, Brandon Miller has just been unstoppable. What is a couple of weeks ago? He had the 40-point effort, and then he put up another 20 yesterday. Talk to me here. Alabama kind of like just volume threes you to death, and just hoping they hit a ton, and usually they do. Defensively, pretty strong. How does A&M win this game today, JJ?
So very strong lean on the over. The reason why I didn't bet it is because I lost money betting the over 3 games ago. The number was 153, I believe, or 153.5. This might have been last Saturday, actually, to be honest. Texas A&M let Alabama shoot open threes all game long, and Alabama missed open threes all game long. That ended up turning out for Texas A&M to slow the game down with a big lead, which made the over practically impossible. But when you look at the shooting percentages of both teams combined to shoot about 33% from the field, and the game landed 129. Look, if both teams combined to shoot 40% from the field, I feel, which would be even below their season averages, this game likely goes over this number. Again, you're talking a number that's 7.5 points less than what it was a week ago. The reason why I'm not jumping on it is because it was very clear from the last time these two met that A&M did everything in their power to slow the game down, like everything. Snailing the ball up the court, for not even trying to get as many offensive rebounds as they can. They're one of the best in the country. Mm-hmm. They just kept trying to go back on defense and slow Alabama's transition stuff down. And I'll be honest, like, I'm a big, what's his name, Buzz Williams guy. I did feel like he got a little fortunate in that last game. Again, it was almost like a game plan that let's let Alabama shoot open threes. And Alabama was just consistently missing them. I think in the first half of that game, they were like 1 for 23 from 3. It was something ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I can't imagine that would happen again. So, I do think Alabama, in theory, makes sense in certain regards. But yeah, Alabama's going to try to do everything in their power to make this a track meet. And this number is 7 points less than what it was 8 days ago. So, yes, conference tournament defenses get elevated. But I do lean the over as far as who wins the game. Look, it's pretty simple. A&M, if you look at them statistically, they get burned with the 3 ball. They're one of the worst teams in D1 in terms of percentages of teams' points coming from beyond the arc. They do this because their defense sets up where it allows teams to shoot threes. Alabama, while everybody talks about how much this team fires threes, I'm going to be honest, like, they're just not that good at it. As a team, I think they shoot 34% as a team, which is okay, but not in today's standard. So yeah, if Alabama's going to miss their open threes, this game's going to snail again. If Alabama's going to make their open threes, they're going to probably win by double digits. So that's really the handicap. And I'm not trying to lose 2 bets, in the same game twice. But again, you want a lean for me for the game, definitely over at the number. It's 7 points less than what it was 8 days ago. Even if you add in elevated defenses for conference tournaments and a conference ship, still shouldn't be that low. So lean over. But again, I'm just worried A&M's going to try everything in their power to slow this game down again. So stay away from me.
What do you think about Bama in the tournament?
I don't think so. What I find interesting, we'll talk about the Penn State game in a bit. Mm-hmm. Like, for me, if you like Alabama, you have to really like a team like Penn State, because like Alabama, all they do is fire threes, and like at a ridiculous level, and they don't even make them at a high clip either. So over a 6-game stretch, Alabama is going to have the 3 ball is likely going to let them down 1 or 2 games at least in that 6-game stretch. Will they be able to overcome it when that happens? I don't know. I like Alabama when they're a trendy team inside the 15 or 20, and I'm a Nate Oates guy. I don't like Alabama when they're a chalky team coming into the tournament. They're a little chalky. Obviously, not everybody's picking them, but they're a little chalky. We know their upside, but I'll be honest, you could also see their downside, right? When they're not making threes, they're very reliant on their stud freshmen. And the harsh reality is that Miller is only going to be able to take this team so far. In reality, if the pieces around him are failing. So yeah, I don't have high aspirations for Alabama because I know the 3-point game is going to let them down at some point. And I'm not sure they'll be able to overcome it when it does.
All right. All 6 of you watching, make sure you hit the like button. That'd be really nice. Anything else you want to talk about?
No. Do you have any lean in this game?
You don't want my picks right now. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you.
Maybe for an opposite reason. Maybe some people do want your picks.
Yeah, and you could you want to do that? That's actually not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. I'll just say back Penn State at plus 7.5, but we'll get into that.
No.
We'll get into that. Did you take Penn State?
I've been taking Penn State.
Yeah, that's not good for you, buddy. It's not good for you. I'm going to tell you something. The NFL playoffs were so good to me. And I'm like, I'm never losing a bet again. This has been great. Just mediocre in college basketball. And then the last 3 weeks, just an ass whooping. Like, what's the longest shit show you've gone through? Because I need to clean this up for the tournament. This needs to happen. This is the last humongous event that we have for how long? NBA Finals, probably
a month and a half last year was the longest stretch of it.
Oh shit! You went through 6 weeks. Maybe because I'm half the man you are, it'll just stop after 3 now. But yeah, it's been a rough go of it. I got to be honest with you, buddy. I'll take Penn State. Your bet already lost, so go and hedge.
Awesome. Well, I guess no better. Oh no, we got to talk VCU.
No, we got Dayton, VCU. We got Memphis, Houston. We got a lot. By the way, we're gonna get into Memphis, Houston. Have you heard anything about Sasser? Because I watched that game yesterday. His groin. He didn't look good even walking off the court.
I have not, and the coach even implied that like we're not going to risk him in this game with the tournament looming. So we'll see. But also groin injuries are nothing to play with either. But and I'll be honest, I think Memphis matches up pretty well with them as well. I do have concerns though over the Sasser news. Obviously we'll talk on that game once we get to it. But I did make a bet in the VCU game, so we could talk on that briefly.
Good. Well, we will. Yeah, we have to.
So I really like Dayton in this spot. So
hold on, before we get into that, can we just settle down for a second and get to a piece of real news? JC Zargo, who you hired for the bet side, says that they rolled back daylight savings time. So this could be the last one. At least that's what he says.
The rumors have been spiraling.
Okay.
Love it.
It would be great. Again, there's no
breaking news.
Yeah, there's no reason for us to be doing this at 7:30 Mountain Time when it's now 8:30.
But I mean, you do realize in certain ways why they've done it, right? Because otherwise, at certain times of the year, you're going to wake up at 7 a.m. and it's going to be still black.
Correct.
And at nighttime, it's going to be still black. It's going to get black at like 4 in the afternoon.
I mean, again, that's how it is. That's
life. That's life.
Yeah, you wake up, you go. Hey, listen. I grew up in Chicago, man. You go to school and it was dark, even during wintertime. You get out of school, it's dark at 3:45. It was horrible. So screw daylight savings time. If you live in a place where you're not getting a lot of light, that's on you. Move.
Sure.
So now we can go into Dayton and VCU. What do we got here? Dayton plus 1.5, 124.5 is the total. VCU minus 130. Dayton plus 10 on the money line. So talk to me here. Didn't these two teams split the regular season? And I think this thing is dry. Yeah, didn't this thing go from 2.5 to 1.5? So we had a little movement here as well. Talk to me. Dayton VCU. Who wins the rubber match today?
Yeah, so I think the wrong team's favored, not by much, but I do think this game's about 3 points off, maybe even more. The reality is that Dayton's just a good matchup for VCU. In favor of them. Now, granted, Dayton does turn the ball over a lot. We know what VCU loves to do, right? The inverted pressing all game long. But as long as Dayton doesn't turn the ball over a crazy amount, they have other advantages in their favor here. I also will say this: Dayton's played this team tough twice. Even the game they won, they turned the ball over 20 times or whatever it was, more than 20 times, and they fouled 20 times as well. You do also run into risks with VCU with how often they draw fouls. They're just a unique team. They force a ton of turnovers. They don't foul as much as they should for how aggressive they play defense. And they get to the line a ton. I mean, they're just a typical – and they do relatively shoot okay from the free throw line, over 70%. I just think overall, it's been proven these two teams have met. Dayton's a really tough matchup specifically for VCU. They have decent guard play, and while Dayton can get a little turnover prone at times, they can make up for it in various ways with how efficient they are once they settle into their half-court offense. One of the best ball movement teams in the country. And I just think overall, when you talk about Dayton's ability to get to the free throw line, Dayton's ability to grab things on the offensive glass, and Dayton, has an underrated defense. Like they're relatively tough to score on, and they have no issue slowing this VCU team down. VCU loves to play with pace. Obviously, they love the varying full court press throughout the entire game. Dayton's just a big team, and if they can properly slow the game down, I would expect Dayton to control this game throughout. And again, to me, I think Dayton should be a small favorite, like 1.5. Instead, I'm getting the 1. Well, actually, I got it at 2. I know it dipped to 1.5. So it's been dipping back and forth, but did get Dayton a +2 versus VCU here. I do think this goes even wire to wire regardless, but I think you're getting value on a game that's, arguably a coin flip, but at worst, maybe Dayton should be the slight favorite, and I'm happy to get the 2.
All right. Very good. Like button would be great. Would love to see the likes get up here. Why? I don't know. They just tell us to say that. Whatever. I don't understand the algorithm. I don't know if you do. Do you understand an algorithm? What is an algorithm?
I used to when I was doing my own channel, but the algorithm has since changed.
What is an algorithm?
It's like it's just a stream of artificial intelligence that is looking for certain things in videos based on engagements, and off of that, it shows people videos that they think you would like, but that's based off of all the engagements and videos that you specifically have liked. So it's actually, in some ways, in certain sites like obviously Instagram or social media, it's very complex on the back end. But it's not random what you're seeing on your feeds, I guess is what it comes down to. It's all calibrated in that sense.
Would you ever consider, if you were single, dating a 36-year-old grandmother?
I don't think the grandmother is even relevant.
I think it totally is. Lauren Boebert,
I think when
the hottest gilf in the world.
I think when you're dating at that age, I think you have to expect that it's probably better than a coin flip. Whoever you're dating, you're likely to inherit kids, and at that point, what's the difference between kids and grandkids? I mean, in my opinion, at that point, what's really the big difference? It's
just bad parenting. I think it's what it is. So
you
let your kid, bang some other kid. Not good. That's.
You also do understand that if you're a 36-year-old grandmother, you very likely also were having kids at a young age.
It was her mother that did it. Boy, she's a good-looking woman, though. Very attracted to her. I don't like what she says, but boy, is she good-looking. You seen a picture of Lauren Boebert? You ever seen her? She's out here in Colorado. Lauren Boebert.
I've never even heard of her.
Oh God, go look her up. Boy, she's into teenage sex and guns and everything like that. She's just a wonderful looking woman.
Oh, I have seen her.
She represents the great state of Colorado.
I did not know this was her name, but I have seen her before.
Yeah. What do you think? Scale 1 to 10.
Let me just pull up a few more images. Okay. So you might call this a hot take. I actually think back in the day, Sarah Palin was more attractive than her.
Yeah, I agree. My friend Lisa Ann, who starred in Nailin' Palin. Have you seen that classic? That was a good one.
I have not, but I can make my assumptions.
That really put Lisa on the map, so to speak. And there's been no, banging Boebert. So
I could see, just based on her brief political thoughts on here, I could see how she could definitely fire up some people, though, in a positive and negative way.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm just talking about her physically. AOC, I don't understand this, Robert. AOC is not a good-looking woman. Not a good. She has like a rodent face. So I don't understand why all these people are like, oh, AOC's the hot one. No. It's the crazy Lauren Boebert. That's the hot one. Sarah Palin, 20 years ago, Nailin' Palin, perfect.
Yeah, AOC doesn't necessarily do it for me, but again, in a traditional sense, like if you're at a bar at 2 a.m. and a woman who looks like AOC comes up to you, I don't think you're turning that down, Holden.
I'm turning that down.
I don't think so.
I'm not into it. Boebert, absolutely. Just shut your mouth, come home, and get out of my bed. All right. We still got a couple of
few games left, I think.
So Houston 5.5-point favorites against Memphis. 135.5 total. Memphis plus 200 on the money line, minus 240 for Houston. We just don't know about Marcus Sasser, and does it matter at this point? I don't think he's playing either. I know you said I don't know why you would run a player out there when you have bigger aspirations when you're Houston, but look at what they did last year. They had the injuries last year. They managed to clean it up. They've got Sheed, a couple other guys that can put the ball in the basket still. But didn't Memphis look pretty good yesterday? Haven't they looked at, hasn't Kendrick Davis, looked pretty good too? So this will be a fun game. I'm looking forward to probably not watching it because I'll be on a train to the city to go to the Nuggets game, but wish I could watch it.
Here's my issue with this game. At a surface level, it does make sense to back Memphis catching 5.5 here. I will say this much though, as somebody who bet Memphis when these two just met last week, I think these two met last Sunday or last Saturday. It was one of them.
It was last week.
That game was 5, and that game was in Memphis. This is a neutral court, and now you're getting a half point better at 5.5. So the question you end up having to answer is, how much is Sasser worth to this line? And I'd argue there's very little percentage chance that he's worth even 2 points to this line, because this team has played a bunch of games without him this year. Granted, Sasser's great, but they also have guys that can spread the floor, separate from Sasser. I just don't think you're getting a good number here. Memphis could win outright. I've already made it very clear that when DeAndre Williams is in the lineup for Memphis, for one reason or another, Memphis causes fits to this Houston team. They play them difficult, whether it's in Houston, whether it's in Memphis. As long as DeAndre Williams is playing over his last 4 years he's been here, they've given Memphis Houston fits. I just, you try to stay number disciplined in certain ways. This line was 5 in Memphis last week, and now it's 5.5 at a neutral court. And again, the Sasser impact is, of course, relevant. For me, if don't get me wrong, if the first half Houston's like blowing this team out, I could definitely see you wanting to back Memphis in the second half, catching a few extra points. But as far as the pregame line goes, I can't, mathematically speaking, I can't jump on this Memphis team in this spot. But again, wouldn't surprise me if they won outright. Wouldn't surprise me if they lost by double digits. Memphis typically plays this team tough. But also, Houston went on a decent run in the middle of that game last week where they went up 10 or 12, and then Memphis fought back. This Memphis team has played really well this tournament. You either ride that confidence and you finish this out, or maybe you finally get it back to earth game for Memphis. I don't look at the Memphis big win yesterday as anything crazy. Tulane's guards played terrible. Open shots missed all game long. Likely not going to be that fortunate against Houston here, but either way, I think the number is technically in favor of Houston here at 5.5. But I can't bet Houston against a team they match up terrible against most often. So yeah, pass for me overall. If this was to stretch to 6.5, I would jump, but I doubt it because I feel like Memphis is going to be a pretty trendy dog in this spot. But stay away from me.
So we got one more game to get to, and we'll get to it in just a moment. Horrible take here by Andrew Archuleta. Very racist. White girls are ugly. It's pretty simple. Margot Robbie I would disagree with you on her. She's probably the most beautiful woman in the world right now. Besides for your wife, JJ, who's the most beautiful woman in the world?
I am a Kate Beckinsale fan.
I mean, there's another one, little Kate Beckinsale action. So I don't blame you on that one. I'll tell you, there's 2 women that I really had crushes on growing up. By the way, there's like a mushroom cloud coming out of just south of Denver. I don't know what's going on down there. A little concerning. Maybe I could tell Tony there's a mushroom cloud and I'm not going to make it to the game today. Anyways, Halle Berry was one of the most, and Raquel Welch, who recently died, only woman I've ever wanted to copulate with in the 60s. And I was, in my early 20s when she was in her 60s. Probably the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, even up into her mid 60s.
If you like them, then I assume you have to like Salma Hayek.
Oh, she was beautiful. She's still beautiful.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it kind of fits the same narrative.
Yeah, I mean, just listen, they're all beautiful women. Yeah, that's just when it comes down to it. No shot with any of them. And the other one was Alyssa Milano, probably as far as the cute one, definitely a cute one there. I'm sure there's some ugly people would say ugly women, but I was on to them. Lauren Boebert being one of them. Just like guys in the chat who like AOC. You like an ugly woman? That's fine. If they have a good personality, that's really all that matters once you get older. Looks
Fair.
fade, JJ.
It's
happening here right now in front of your face.
Life wisdom from Holden Kush. You should make that like a daily thing.
And don't marry women for their money.
Jennifer Love Hewitt's a good one. So Jason,
that's a cutie pie.
That's a really good one.
That's a cute. Oh, who is the girl? Oh, it's like some boy thinks she's it's on the top of my.
What's she in? Or what was she in?
Maybe like This Boy's Life or something. I'm not sure. God, she's so beautiful. This Boy's Life? No, that can't be it because that's a movie. Oh God, it's gonna kill me. So it doesn't matter. I can't even help you.
ScarJo's up there too.
ScarJo from about 18 to 25 was the best looking woman in the game. And then it went to,
So you think she's taken a few leaps?
I mean, she's over the hill now. Yeah, she's no longer, the best. She's in the second tier. She's like a 2 seed. She's the 2 seed at this stage in her life. Anybody else that you can think of?
Now that I'm thinking of it, is Alyssa Milano the one that was like against Scientology or with Scientology? Was that the one?
No.
Who am I thinking of? It was an older actress.
Tom Cruise, his wife. I don't know.
She's in her 50s, I think now. I can't think of
what do you think of who's the filthy lady rapper who just says all the disgusting stuff? What's her name?
Oh, Cardi B.
Cardi B. Thoughts on Cardi B? Oh, 2 others, Mila Kunis and Jessica Alba. Mila Kunis, I can make an argument for 2 years was at the top of the list.
Mila Kunis for a bit was up there for sure.
I had a crush on Natalie Portman. Megan Fox is a beautiful, beautiful woman. Ava Mendes is another one that I really got into. And Fair. Shakira. How about Shakira?
Yeah.
Let's give Shakira a little shout out for the booty.
And I was always a fan of Jessica Alba.
Oh, how could you not be?
Yeah.
How could you not be? Okay. One more game to get to, and then we're done. Then you don't have to deal with me anymore. Marissa Tomei. I just looked her up for a second. She might be a little old for you.
My cousin Vinny, that Marissa Tomei?
Yeah, and she was in The Wrestler where she actually got naked, which was totally awesome.
You would know that.
Penn State, Purdue laying 7.5, 134.5. Penn State plus 275 on the money line here. The best player in this game plays for Penn State. His name is Jalen Pickett. I cannot tell you how disappointed I was that Ohio State decided not to help on Zach Edey yesterday. Completely asinine. Tiffany Amber Thiessen. Yes, Jason Graham. Anyways, the best players on Penn State, they can't be as dumb as Ohio State and not double down on Edey, can they?
I will say this. If this number was not 7.5, I would not be betting Penn State. I don't think this is a good matchup for Penn State specifically. Penn State is a relatively small team. And they make up for that with senior guards and tremendous ball handling. They never turn the ball over. They shoot threes, arguably the best in the country in terms of how many they actually shoot and how many they actually make. They have 40% three-point shooters everywhere. But I do have concerns how they're going to stop the big guy, even if they double him. The main thing with Penn State with me with this take is the number. It's a big number. And Penn State's been a team all tournament long that's been shooting the ball really well. I mentioned this in the video yesterday when we bet them versus Indiana. Penn State has shot, as silly as it sounds, you're going back 20 games now. Only twice have they shot less than 35% from three. And both those games were against Rutgers, who's one of the best in the nation at defending the three-point line. Purdue is not very good at defending the three-point line. But again, Purdue has a lot of advantages offensively here. What we find what happens with Purdue is when teams double the big guy, they kick out to the shooters. And honestly, this is not your typical Purdue team. They do not shoot the ball from three very well. I mean, they might have a few games here and there where they shoot well from three, but they, as a team, do not shoot the ball very well. Penn State, what they did interesting yesterday was they were driving to the rim and getting contact. This is not something they've been really doing all year long. That is the strategy here. Drive to the rim, get that guy out of the game as best they can. But yeah, they're going to have to double him. They're going to have to let Purdue take open threes. But needless to say, what I've liked from Penn State has been their defense this tournament.
The problem, if you want to look at the last two matchups, these are blowouts, JJ. Purdue won by 13 and 20.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be clear. Matchup-wise, this is not the best matchup. And right. Edey, what did he go for? 30 in one of the matchups? Yeah. And I don't know what he did in the other matchup.
Did this thing move 2 points? It was 5.5, and now it's 7.5. Woo!
Yeah, and then Edey didn't have a crazy game the other time out, but Purdue shot really well from three. I think overall, this is more or less just a number play for me. Again, if this number is 5.5, I'm not betting Penn State, even though I've been riding them for a bit now. Purely a number spot. With that in mind, yeah, I think you'll probably know relatively early what Penn State's going to try to do to stop the big man today. But again, if I'm drawing things up, and look, let's be honest, Shrewsbury knows what he's doing. How he's coached his team over the last month or so has been phenomenal. But I do think they're going to have to double him and keep him far away from the rim. Penn State has some big guards. Big guards and relatively small forwards, which could force Edey to try to guard outside the 3-point line, which Penn State could use to their advantage offensively. But pure number spot, Penn State continues to shoot the three ball well. You got a lot of confidence coming out of their stud guards, especially recently between Pickett, who you mentioned that barely anybody talks about, and Lundy. I think a lot of guys in this Big Ten conference get a lot of notoriety, especially Edey, Jackson Davis from Indiana. Pickett seems to be like a lost cause in the conversations, and Lundy's a great second punch for this team as well. And again, even if you look past these two, there's still another 3 shooters on this team that shoot 40% from three. Outside of them, they have another few guys that shoot 36% from three. This team just gets off the bus shooting threes. And it's not like they shoot low volume. Like you typically see these percentages when a team shoots low volume, like in terms of the amount. This team shoots a ton of threes and they make a ton of threes. Purdue's going to let them shoot today because that's the way their defense works. So Penn State's just got to make their threes to keep this close and do all they can to slow down the big man.
All right, so you have to go do the NASCAR show. So
10:50, yeah, 10:50, man.
Do you want to do your best bet?
Yeah, favorite look today is definitely Dayton.
Okay.
So I do think the wrong team's favored, and I think that they give VCU a hard time. But again, to me, the line's a few points off. VCU could definitely win. Wouldn't even surprise if VCU blew them out. But I'll tell you this: if VCU blows out Dayton, all that means that Dayton turned the ball over an egregious amount of times because that's the big advantage VCU has in this game. Dayton has a lot of other advantages, though, and even when they've turned the ball over a lot and they fouled a lot, they've still proven they can beat this team. So if we just get a marginal performance from them in those categories, I think the rest of the categories will weigh in Dayton's favor. So that's why I like Dayton.
And I'll go Penn State plus 7.5. So you guys know how to go with Purdue.
And that's great because that's my second bet of the show.
Well, don't give it out. Couple things then in summation as we just gave our best bets. First of all, JJ, you're staying at the Hampton Inn.
Correct.
Not the Holiday Inn.
Correct. Noted.
Second of all, please blow off Uncle T and come to the casino with me and Rubio Dimes. Not because I want to hang out with you, more just to spite Uncle T.
Got it.
Do you think you can make it happen?
Got it. I think I can find a happy medium, yes.
What's the happy medium? Uncle T, I'll meet you at 3.
Uncle T, you said you were going to pay. I'll pay, and we just go a few hours later.
Oh, that's great. Okay, that's good. Anything else? I'm definitely going to see you Wednesday. I'm looking forward to it. You also will get a big hug, but I will not grab your booty.
Got it. What if I grab your booty?
Well, you're going to be very pleased. It is looking good. I've been doing a lot of deep squats, and it's fun. I probably have the best ass of any 48-year-old, not an actor.
That's interesting. That is probably a very hot take, considering if you truly believed you had the best ass, I feel like you could probably be on OnlyFans or
I am
or promote.
It's funny. My girlfriend's on OnlyFans, and sometimes I wear a mask.
You know what? I didn't really need to know that, but maybe some people in the chat appreciated that information. And with all due respect, kudos.
Oh, thanks. It's a good side income.
I believe so. If it's a good side income from her, what do you get? Like percentages of it when you win?
I mean, the more money she makes, the better I'm living.
Got it.
It's a very niche audience, though. She's very she talks to you soothingly, like, "Hi, how are you? Today, my boyfriend, Mikhail, is going to be joining me." And then you know how it works.
And then Mikhail enters with a mask on, and that's
correct. And I do it in a Russian accent. I'm like, "Come here, it's time to make money on OnlyFans."
I love how now your accent, you're like Zorro.
Oh, that's what it was. Zorro's not Russian, buddy. Zorro is not Russian.
Well, that was not a Russian accent.
Bullshit, it wasn't.
That was well, let the chat decide. That was a very mid-Russian accent.
Niet. And then I'm like, she's like, "Oh, do this." I'm like, niet.
Very, very below average Russian accent.
I missed working with you, JJ. It's been a while, buddy.
It has. It has. And yeah, we'll get a lot of quality time together next week.
So next weekend, we'll do this again on Sunday for the second day of the tournament.
Well, I'll be back. I'll be back Saturday. So yeah, we'll do this again Sunday, talking through the I guess it's tough, right? We'd have to maybe do this earlier because the games start, right? So
oh yeah. That's fine.
Either way, we'll figure it out. But yeah, we'll do a show Sunday. We'll give out some bets for Sunday.
Yeah. And I'm not doing OnlyFans during March Madness. I'm taking off.
Good.
Too much energy. It's too much time.
A little PTO for you is well deserved.
Yeah, I just hired some guy up at a Home Depot to take care of her, and that was it.
I assume he's similarly built to you, right? I mean,
no, he's got a big pot belly. He's shorter than me. So I just want her to know how lucky she is.
Got it. You don't think that's going to be an issue on tape?
No. I think our audience looks for that.
Got it. They want different bodies and masks.
They want true amateur stuff. They don't want the professional stuff.
Got it.
$14.99. Check it out.
Got it. Anything else you have currently you'd like to promote in your side hustle?
Not really.
Got it.
Oh, you know what? Just there's a podcast I do. It's called Denver City Cast on the Bet Rivers Network. Denver City Cast. You get a chance, just follow it and download it, and that's it. You don't have to listen.
Love it.
I sounded like Nacho Libre. It's coming from the same guy that thinks white girls are ugly. Good job, Andrew.
I think the next time you give out that accent, you should be pulling out a sword. You should be pulling out a sword.
I pull out a sword, all right, with that accent.
But anyway, good show all around. Everybody, thank you for the comments. I appreciate you guys as always. I'll likely be back for the Wednesday golf show. We'll try to do that together in Kentucky as one full video swoop. But yeah, expect content this week in various ways. I know my dad's going to fill in a bit as well to do some college basketball content on the Best channel while I'm away. And then, yeah, guys, in less than 10 minutes, we'll be talking NASCAR with a few of the guys as well. So stay here for that, especially if you're going to be in the NASCAR streets. But with all that said, gamble responsibly, stay safe. As always, run pure. We'll see you guys. I'll see you in less than 10 minutes.
Can't
Later.
wait.